Pulisic comes through for Milan, and Harry Kane is on fire in the Bundesliga.
Betis marks their spot as at least the second most Real in La Liga, and it's already looking like the Premier League is going to be red again. All this and more on this episode 90 of the No Business Soccer Podcast. Snooze, kick us off.
Let's dig in. Yes, I feel like we need to start with a disclaimer that the opinions of the people that are being shown are not by everyone here on the board. So just making sure it's kind of stuff there. Anyways, welcome to the No Business Soccer Podcast. I'm your host, Snooze, and we got the full fam today. Of course, we have Danny P on the ones and twos, and Brainiac J-Fam's hanging in the back as well. But everybody's here to see our boy, our hype man, Vic. What you sipping on, dog?
Well, as you guys know, I've been drinking a bunch of Oktoberfest beers. I went to Japan and had, some lighter whiskeys and a lot more beers there. So now we're back to bourbon. And one of my favorite bourbons that I have is this Larceny Barrel Proof C923. Those of you that know, you guys know, one of the best Larceny Barrel Proofs. And I'm going to top up a little bit here just to get the party going, because it's been a while since I had some bourbon. And why not start with one of the best ones I have? So while I get a sniff, so great. We did bourbon, by the way, for everybody that knows, but so much caramel. I get a little bit of green apple on there too. I don't know. Anyway, we can go over notes some other time. But as I take a sip, I'll go ahead and cheers you guys. And while I cheers, go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. It's the best way to tell YouTube that, hey, we're kind of pretty cool. You might want to listen to us and, get us out there. It's the best way to support us. Cheers, everyone.
Bink. Of course, you got to cheers it. And we have a full slate of games to cover, plus some good vibes in the hometown of Austin, Texas. We have Serie A, we have the Prem, we have La Liga, and we have the Bundesliga, and we have a lot to cover. So let's jump right into it. But first, boots on the ground in Austin, Texas for your Austin FC Minute.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It is good vibes again as Austin FC get the victory this past Sunday at 6 p.m., not 7:30, like I said, as we beat Seattle Sounders 2-1. And again, it's your boy CJ Fodry, who only drives a stick shift because he is clutch. He has 3 goal contributions, 2 winning goals, and 1 goal assist to Mirto Ozuni just this past week in the 96th minute. It was one of the last kicks of the game. Not only that, of course, Brad Stewart was showing out, made MLS team of the match day. Stewart saved us. He had 3 amazing saves, not to mention his other saves, but there were 3 like outstanding ones. But the talk of the town right now is CJ Fodry. How he has just come in and changed the game every single time he's coming into the game. And it's good vibes. I will say that when we scored that game winning goal, not most of the crowd, probably like 40% of the crowd had left. But the 60% that was there went wild. So the atmosphere is changing. I think these US Open Cup semifinal wins and hopefully this final win on October 1st is definitely electrifying the crowd out there, because it was great. It was such a great atmosphere to go to. So hopefully we will see you out there. The next home game is October 1st, the US Open Cup final against Nashville. Although Austin does have an away game against Real Salt Lake on Saturday. We will talk about that more in the next episode. But that one's at 8:30. But yeah, good times all around for Austin FC. And I'm really happy. So if you see me out there, hit me up, say what's up. At least 3 or 4 are on me, because it's good times right now.
At least 3 or 4. Yeah. We got CJ Fodry is our Alexander Sorloth to Atletico Madrid. Like, he doesn't play a lot, but he just like, why give him 90 minutes when he only needs 15 to do damage? Just bring him in and he gets it done. So
yeah, seems to be doing it. Also, Mirto Ozuni did make the bench on the MLS team of the match day too, and you saw a huge outpour of emotion from him. Something you don't
crazy,
really see. Yeah. He was going crazy. So
good vibes all around. He at first, shaking the thing, and then he kind of chilled, like, all right, I forgot.
Relax,
chill. So okay, well, let's jump right into it then. Let's go to Italy.
Let's do it. To Serie A.
Serie A, it was actually a pretty tame weekend, fairly tame, I guess we'll say. There wasn't any shock upsets or losses, anything crazy like that. Pretty chalk. Like if you were betting on the favorites, you probably won some money, except for Juve's match. Unfortunately for our friend Michael.
No, incorrect. Christian. Yeah. And
Christian,
apparently that was the only match where they allowed elbows for the weekend, I guess. So, I don't know if you guys saw that, but that was a pretty crazy non-red call that Verona had there. So
there's we're going to talk about that match a little bit here, but actually there's a player that I want to call out for Verona that's actually caught my eye, and not the one that caught the other guy's eye. What different players. So okay, well, before we do that, let's go into it first. I mean, I know everybody's waiting to see what made the top matches and headlines. So, Vic, take it away, sir.
Yeah, let's do it. So these are your top matches and headlines for Serie A match day 4. And of course, we start number 1, Roma do it again.
Yeah, it was another tight and edgy affair in the battle for Rome, and Roma get the win in this one. To my eyes, though, Lazio actually had the better scoring chances. Obviously, didn't make them, but just couldn't finish. And Rome, they get a win. They get 3 points, and they're back on the winning streak.
Number 2 is, of course, that Juve dropping points to Verona.
Everything we knew said this match would be a blowout and that Juve would be scoring goals left and right. I mean, they just did that against some of the best teams in Europe, but it wasn't to be, as Verona held them to a draw and looked really good in the process. And we'll talk more about this one in a second.
And number 3, we salute you, Captain America.
Oh, man. Pulisic was running like a madman for Milan this weekend, getting a brace, and it was his pressure in the Udinese box that led to his assist for the second goal. It's 3 wins in a row for Milan as they start to hit their stride, and Pulisic is right there with them, leading the charge.
And those are your top matches and headlines for Serie A match day 4. Snooze, I think it just is in his genes. Like Pulisic is just where he needs to be every single time, and it seems like it's just happening, man. I don't know how he does it. It's just
he's insane. Well, I'll talk about it when we get to the match, but yes, he was awesome this match. I hadn't seen this type of like just grit. I don't know why he took it out on this poor team, but man, it was awesome to see.
Yeah, well, and we'll get there. But let's go ahead and go into the matches and the results from this past weekend. And because it all started on Friday as Cagliari go on the road and get a 2-1 win against the Milkmen Lecce.
It was all going according to plan for the Milkmen to steal a point from this one, but a 70th minute penalty was blasted home by Andrea Bellotti, and it makes it back-to-back wins for Cagliari, and the poor Milkmen have now lost 3 consecutive matches, not looking good.
That was our lone match for Friday. Then moving on to Saturday, we had Bologna taking on Genoa, and Bologna take the 2-1 win at home.
Bologna get back to winning ways with a stoppage time Orsolini penalty. Who else would it be? As Genoa just can't catch a break as their winless streak extends to 4 matches. In the broadcast, they said that Bologna were wasteful in attack today, and 14 shots with 6 on target and only 1 goal from open play proves that point. But for Bologna, seeing Castro and Orsolini on the score sheet's got to feel great as they start to build momentum.
And then our next match was that Verona and Juve match, which ended in a 1-1 draw. And apparently elbows were legal for at least 2 minutes of this game.
And all right, it was a weird one. I'll put it that way. Like I mentioned in the look at the Juve were scoring goals for fun against top tier opponents coming in, and they were held to just 1 goal within the first 20 minutes of this match. But like they spent the whole rest of the game not scoring. And not only did Verona hold their own defensively, keep an eye on Gift Orban. And I don't remember if he was the one who elbowed. I actually can't remember. But he scored the penalty for Verona. And just watching Orban, he was everywhere for this Verona side. And he came close to scoring a couple more and actually could have gotten Verona the win, but it wasn't meant to be. Now, Vic, please explain to me the elbow, because I was watching the extended highlights and checking all of the info, the data points from the match, but I didn't actually get to watch the full match. So please explain it for the audience.
I got the full earful of it because Christian was so mad whenever he went in there. But he's like, you can see, so it's clear as day. I don't know why they didn't go to VAR or nothing. He got a yellow card, and I forgot who it was. But you can see that it's a ball up in the air. There's 2 people going for it. The Verona guy literally looks at the Juve guy, gets ready, and just elbows him in the back. Goes straight to the side of the head. And Juve guy goes down, and then Verona guy gets a yellow card. But it's just, that was it. But like, it was obvious he was not going for the ball. He looked at him, lined him up, and just elbowed him. And that was like an obvious red card that wasn't called. And it was pretty crazy. And yeah, I got an earful of it today from
Like so dumb. Look, this is how I put it. If you are Juve and the only complaint you have is that we didn't get a red card from that means you didn't have a good day, man. Juve should be winning this regardless. They put 4 past Milan, and who is it? It was 4. Oh, Dortmund. The champion. Like this team is scoring goals for fun, and the fact that they didn't in this one was insane. But to your friend's point, if they would have given a red card, then maybe they would have scored a lot more. They would have had the advantage, but it didn't. It wasn't meant. Just a weird match all around. Weird.
Yeah, weird match and a tough break for Juve. Not so much a tough break was our closing match for Saturday as AC Milan go in and handle business against Udinese on the road 3-0.
Yeah, so it turns out that Udinese's win over Inter might have not been an indicator of how good they're going to be this season. I thought maybe it would be, but Milan dominated this match from start to finish. And maybe those Australian kits that they look, I mean, I don't think they look good, but they like to wear in their away team. They're going to be some kind of good luck, I guess. I don't know. But either way, they looked great. They're starting to feel right. Inzaghi's boys are starting to gel. And of course, with no European fixtures, they can kind of just start to get hot and keep that momentum going one game at a time, or one game a week at a time. And like we mentioned a little bit earlier, Pulisic is playing out of his mind right now. The goal that I was talking about, or sorry, the assist that he got, he was in the box of Udinese, just chasing down ball after ball, and ends up a guy's like holding up. He's not looking. Pulisic is behind him, and he sprints to him, gets the ball, and gets the assist on that. I mean, it's an amazing display. It's awesome to see. And it kind of like middle finger to all people say that he's, being lazy for, I would guess this doesn't prove that because they're saying for the United States, but still he has the quality to be one of the best players we've ever seen in the red, white, and blue. And I don't know why people are hating on him.
Yeah. And hopefully he'll play whenever they come to Q2 Stadium in October. So let's see.
He probably won't, but that's okay. Leave him alone.
He should, man. They're getting ready for the World Cup. He needs to play. I don't know. We'll see. But that was our last match on Saturday. We moved into Sunday with the Battle of Rome, and Roma stand tall as they take down Lazio 1-0.
I thought that Roma would look more dominant in this match just because of the way that Lazio played, but also it's a derby. I mean, I should have known better. But 3 points is 3 points. And in typical Derby della Capitale fashion, there are 2 straight red cards in this one. And one was during the match, one was after the match. They were both for Lazio. Roma gets the win 1-0, but there was, like I said in our recap or the highlights, Lazio had plenty of chances. Zaccagni and Castellanos both had, Castellanos, I put that, boom, the emphasis on it. But they both had perfect opportunities that just they couldn't convert, and I'm pretty sure it's Castellanos. If not, let me know who it was if you're a Lazio fan. But there was, just time after time, it felt like they could have gotten it done and they didn't. So what can we say? But Roma gets it done. And Gasperini in the post match press conference, wow, a lot of there. He was saying that he likes that his team is winning games, but he needs him to score more. And it's just funny because at Atalanta they would score goals for fun, and Roma's just never been that team recently. So like they're doing what they do, but if they start scoring more, then watch out.
Yeah, and speaking of scoring goals for fun, Atalanta take out their frustrations and go into Torino and beat them 3-0.
Yeah, hey, Atalanta's back in Serie A after the Champions League debacle that happened in Paris. They're just fine. They're cruising along. But I think that the team that they're playing next, the team that Torino played last week was Roma, and they beat them, right? Now, Roma, we know is a good team, but they played Atalanta like, I don't know. It was like, who is this side? Do they just decide to play Roma good and just crap the bed in this one? I don't know a better word for it. But either way, AT Aliens, man, they're back. They're strong. 3-0. And whenever you lose like they did in Paris to PSG, a lot of teams are going to do that. PSG are a great team, but they bounce back in the Serie A, and that's all you can do at this point. I don't know much about this Atalanta team as far as what they're going to look like in the long run, but I think they're definitely good enough to beat some of the worst teams in Serie A. And so we'll see where they end up. I don't feel like they're a top 4 team right now, though.
Yeah, and then in a less exciting matchup, we had Cremonese taking on Parma, and it ends in a 0-0 draw.
It's the second straight goalless draw for Cremonese. And yes, they're still unbeaten in Serie A this season, but it's weird that they put 3 goals past Sassuolo and then they just used all their goals up, I guess, because since then they haven't scored a single one. Parma will do with the point, though. They're still lurking at the bottom of the table, so they'll count this as a win.
And then who also will count as a win is Como, as they took on our Fiorentina and beat them on the road 2-1. And I still don't think I said that right, but you guys get it.
Yeah, we get it. This was a fun one as we get to see another star in the making for Como. It seems like they have him so much, but he bags the winner in the 4th minute of stoppage time. And we're talking about Jaden Adai. I feel bad for our Lazio for our Fiorentina, because they didn't deserve to lose this match. And it's a cruel, cruel game. Fiorentina had so much going for them in this one. They had the lead for a while and just couldn't get it to go. And it felt like they were going to split the points, but nope. Jaden Adai is there. They're just popping up with stars I think he's like 20 years old, but their team could be good for a long time. Obviously, they're probably going to be poached from bigger clubs around Europe, but man, they're fun to watch.
And then closing out our Sunday, we had Inter taking on the newly promoted Sassuolo and outlasting them 2-1.
This wasn't the prettiest win for Inter, but it's 3 points, and that is good enough. Sassuolo scored late to make it interesting, but overall, Inter were pretty comfortable with this win. They get 3 points. It's all good.
And then we moved on to Monday Night Football as Napoli at home beat Pisa 3-2. And if you're watching this was yesterday, but it was tonight for us, our Monday Night Football.
Yeah, Napoli extend their win streak to 4, and it was fairly straightforward as they got out to a 3-1 lead before Pisa scored a second goal in the 90th minute. It was good to see them rebound after the debacle against City, because they have Milan up next and then Sporting in the Champions League right after that. So some big matches going on, and this was a good win to get because it's kind of like a prep match, bounce back from that City loss and let's go right into Milan and have a great match there. That was going to be fun.
Yeah, and those are your matches for match day 4. It was pretty fun, but some teams had just a really stereotypical week. But yeah, we're getting more games in, and we're starting to see who's who, and maybe who some are surprising teams, and maybe some really disappointing teams as well.
I'm sure that will happen for sure. There's a lot of teams that I felt like we had a good read on, and they just completely flipped the switch on us. So. Let's talk about it. Let's go into our next league, and let's go to Germany.
Let's do it then to Bundesliga. Yes, Bundesliga. Man, I am.
Yes, it's Oktoberfest too.
Yes, I'm so jealous. I'm seeing all these people at Oktoberfest, and it's just making me all the FOMO. And God, I want to go back.
I saw a video that had there was hundreds of dudes sprinting as soon as the Oktoberfest gates opened. They were like running. I was like, we got there when it opened, and there's no running like that. Or maybe the people before us, I don't know. I didn't notice it though. Anyway, I was like, where are they going though? Because I guess they're going to be there all day. Like they're just going to drink at 9 a.m. and keep drinking until it closes that in the evening. That's insane. They got some stamina, because we had to take a break. Like there was the 9 to 1 drinking, and then it was like, all right, we got to chill for a bit.
We even went and had like champagne somewhere, right? Didn't we just have like champagne? We had to like relax a little bit,
chill it for a bit.
Yeah, it was pretty. But
anyway,
still want to do it again.
I saw that too. Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I know. Now that I have a kid though, I'm like, wait, where do
you
you put the kids?
No, I'm just kidding. No.
Yeah, right? Where do you put the kids at? What do you do? But anyway, in the Bundesliga, this was what Vic was alluding to. A lot of the teams that we started to feel like we had a read on and we were getting excited for, they fell down to earth. We had some bounce backs that we were waiting for. They finally appeared. They're finally showing up. And plus, Harry Kane is doing some stupid stuff. We're going to talk about it all right now. But first, Vic, give us the highlights.
Let's do it. Let's talk about the top matches and headlines for Bundesliga match day 4. And we start with number 1, St. Pauli, more like St. Folly.
I was really hoping that the run that St. Pauli was on was for real, but it all came to a screeching halt against Stuttgart this weekend. They lost, and they never really looked like they had a chance in this one. They were outmatched and outgunned, but here's to hoping they bounce back soon.
And our number 2 is their cute goat mascot coming up short against the bull.
Like St. Pauli, Cologne's magical start to the season came crashing down as they fall to one of the Bundesliga big boys in Leipzig. It's a bummer because I was just starting to buy into the Cologne hype, but oh well, we live to fight another day. And, there's going to be better teams or easier teams to beat than Leipzig.
And number 3, great Scott Oliver Burke. I don't know
yes.
if I can know
that. I think you did. Yeah, that's good. Yes, the Scotsman Oliver Burke put on a clinic as he got a hat trick against a Frankfurt team that 2 weeks ago looked like the second best team in the Bundesliga. It was a great showing by Burke and a great result for Union Berlin, who really, really needed this win. And I don't know if he'll keep this momentum, but it was really cool to see.
And number 4, Mind's Your Own Business.
Mainz didn't like the way that the haters were talking about them and running their mouth, saying they weren't the same team. But they go out there and they dominate 4-1 over Augsburg. This one was never even close. And it was just what the doctor ordered for Mainz as they get their first win of this young season.
And number 5, Harry Kane is lighting the Bundesliga on fire.
Bayern Munich are off to an incredible start this season as they take down Hoffenheim 4-1, and a big part of that is the form of Harry Kane. Through 7 matches in all competitions, he's already scored 13 goals, and he has 3 assists. He's one of our own, baby.
Yes, so those are your top matches and headlines from Bundesliga Match Day 4. Man, Harry Kane, I think we should start calling him Denzel Washington, the way he's a man on fire there. Dude's doing good.
My God. There's like 3 or 4 you've already had. I can't. Hey, keep it coming. I love it.
It was kind of hard to sneak that Denzel Washington into like the short that we did because it's like that was a lot of words. So I didn't. But saved it for here. Saved it for you guys watching
got it
on YouTube or Spotify or Apple Podcasts so you guys can listen to us.
Look at that. Treats.
There you go. But yeah, those are the top matches and headlines. Let's go ahead and dig into the matches one by one. And they started on Friday as Stuttgart get the 2-0 win at home against St. Pauli.
Stuttgart got a commanding win over St. Pauli, as we talked about, in a match where Stuttgart just looked like the better team. And this was Demirovic's coming out party as he scores a hell of a goal, dancing in and out of defenders before putting it past the keeper. And then he gets an assist as well. Oddly enough, I didn't think St. Pauli played terribly. They just didn't, they just didn't take their chances. It's a good win for VfB and a chance to regroup for St. Pauli. That's nothing more than that.
That was our lone match on Friday. Then we moved into Saturday as Mainz get a really dominant first win of the season, 4-1 over Augsburg.
Yeah, what a way to get your first win of the season for Mainz. 4-0. It was 4-0 before the 70th minute. So they're putting it to them. And again, like I mentioned, it's never close. For an Augsburg side that almost upset Bayern, they've now lost 3 in a row. And man, life comes at you fast.
And then we moved on to our next match. You can copy and paste the score as Bayern beat Hoffenheim 4-1 again.
Bayern bullied Chelsea in the Champions League last week, and then they bully Hoffenheim this weekend. Nothing new to see here, though, as he says, copy and paste the result pretty much. This Bayern side looked incredible, and Harry Kane, like we mentioned, is on another level right now. They might not lose a game in the Bundesliga this season, and like I mentioned, they're just really looking to that Champions League.
And then the next match we had on Saturday was the battle for last place, which was won by Heidenheim. But that means they lost 2-1 to Hamburg.
Hamburg get their first win of the season as they take down the worst team in the Bundesliga at the moment. Don't want to be too rude. And they deserve it because that place was popping. Whatever's going on at that stadium Hamburg has, man, they love it, and they were all about it. And it might be one that we have to put on the bucket list, Vic.
We'll add it to there. Producers, add it to the list.
Yeah.
And then we move on. We move on as Werder Bremen fall 3-0 to Freiburg at home.
I said in the preview that I still believed in the Black Forest boys, and this is one of the ways they can keep those good vibes going. And that's why 3-0 wins will do that for you. Having Grifo back, though, on the score sheet with a goal and an assist is fantastic for Freiburg and exactly what they need to press on. I'm looking forward to seeing more of this Freiburg, Black Forest boys, as I call them.
And then to close out our Saturday, we had Leipzig winning at home 3-1 against our cute little mascot, Köln.
Yes, after Köln equalized 10 minutes after Leipzig opened the scoring, it felt like the game was on. Like they were ready to go. It was ready to take it to them. But as the match continued, it was pretty evident that Leipzig just had a bit too much quality for Cologne to match. and it's all good. It's an impressive performance by Leipzig, and for Köln, they came against a top tier opponent in the Bundesliga and couldn't get it done, but it's all good. We have other teams that aren't top tier. All right.
And then we moved on to Sunday, and it started with a banger as Union Berlin go on the road and beat Eintracht Frankfurt 4-3. I'm sorry.
This was not the match I had pegged for 7 goals to be scored in it, but here we are. Union Berlin get a masterclass from Oliver Burke, and Eintracht lose back-to-back matches in the Bundesliga after starting so promising. I did not see this coming, but, got to give credit where credit's due. Congratulations to Union Berlin. They get that win.
And then our second matchup of Sunday had Leverkusen and Mönchengladbach drawing 1-1.
It was an instant response for Gladbach after having their coach sacked this week as they battle back from a goal down to equalize late in the match. Leverkusen weren't their usual high-flying selves, and that's probably why the match felt so even. When coming in, Leverkusen appeared to have all the momentum, and I felt like this would be a blowout the other way. I felt like Leverkusen could get it done, but hey, credit to Gladbach.
And then we ended our match day 4 with Borussia Dortmund actually getting a win against Wolfsburg 1-0.
I like how you had to pause to be like Borussia Dortmund.
Borussia Dortmund, yes.
I better throw that in there.
Yeah.
Dortmund, they seem to have found their groove, and they just know how to win matches. This wasn't their best performance by any means, but it's 3 points and a clean sheet. There's not too much more you can ask for. The goal was a freaking rocket from Adeyemi from outside the box, but the troubling part was the lack of attacking threat that Wolves had in this match just wasn't there. Dortmund weren't able to do much offensively, but defensively, it wasn't a big struggle for them at all to keep Wolfsburg down. And yeah, a little troubling for our boys over at Wolves.
Yeah, and that was your final match of match day 4 for Bundesliga. Pretty fun, pretty exciting match day. I think we only had 1 draw. Am I thinking of that right? I think I think it was 1 draw. And last week, there was only 1 draw for Bundesliga as well. So I like these are definitive games we're playing here.
We know who's better.
Matches. Yeah. I like it. But yeah, I think that's all we had. Anything else you want to add to Bundesliga?
No, I think we're good. Mainz and Freiburg, the teams that were surprising teams last season, they were kind of falling off this season. They're bouncing back in a big way. I like to see it. Eintracht Frankfurt, I have no idea what's going on. They won big in the Champions League too, and then they go and drop a game like that. It's just crazy. I don't know what's going on.
I didn't see that one coming either. Yeah.
We got a plenty of more games to get to though, so we'll see how they turn out. And let's do it. Let's go right along to our next league, and that would be. Let me get my notes. Sorry. Let's do it. Let's go to Spain.
Let's do it to La Liga.
Yes, like some smooth wine.
Yes.
And man,
always.
There's all the games that happen this weekend, and then you look at some of them and see all the rainy games that are happening in the Prem and the cold. Then you see all the sunshine in Spain, and like, golly, I need to go out there. It just seems like a cool place, man. And we got some answers. I know we still need data points. Like we said, we always call them data points. But this was match day 5. And so 5 matches, we can finally do a full table where it has actually all of the results on there. But we've confirmed some stuff. Like we confirmed who the team to be relegated first will be, almost guaranteed. We'll talk about that in a moment. We have the little engine that could, and we are all aboard. I am ready to talk about that team as well. It might be a little hint of who that is. If you've watched the table or if you've seen La Liga recently, you know who that is. Plus, we had some booty action going on and all of that in good fun. But before we get into that,
most assuredly did not. I don't know what you're talking about.
But before we jump into that, let's go into the highlights. Come on, Vic.
Yes, sir. Let's go in and we will talk about the top matches and headlines for La Liga match day 5. And we start with number 1, missiles in Madrid.
Real Madrid brought Espanyol's unbeaten streak to a halt, and they do it in style with 2 ridiculous long-range goals from Militao and Mbappe. It's 5 wins from 5 from Madrid, and they are cruising.
Number 2, the little Elche that could.
It's another win for Elche, and it's now 5 matches unbeaten to start their La Liga campaign, and they played Betis, Atleti, Sevilla, like not little teams. I don't know if they can keep this up, but there are only 3 unbeaten teams in La Liga right now. That is Barcelona, Real Madrid, and the mighty Elche.
And number 3, what I'm talking about.
Villarreal had a great comeback against Osasuna to take all 3 points, but the story of the match was the winning goal. Tani Alawasi shoots and it hits Papagay right in the cheeks and it curls around the keeper and goes in. Honestly, never seen that before in my life.
And number 4, Atletico Madrid getting in their own way again.
It's hard to win matches in the top tier of Spanish football, and it gets worse if you make it harder on yourself, like Atleti did, by having an early penalty blocked by Julian Alvarez. Well, his penalty was blocked. He didn't block the penalty. That'd be crazy. And then going down a man in that match, I believe it was in the 70th minute. It's just been stop and start for Atleti this season, and they cannot get out of their own way.
And those are your top matches and headlines from La Liga Match Day 5. And you brought up Julian Alvarez. Those pair of butt cheeks, Snooze, now have the same amount of goals this year for La Liga as Julian Alvarez. Isn't that crazy? The same pair of butt cheeks.
The same cheeks have been. Yeah, man, they have been disappointing to start the season.
Yeah.
And they continue to lose. They looked good against Liverpool, but they still lost. Like that doesn't. There's no moral victories here. So, there's I don't know what's going on with them, but I feel like things can't. I mean, they have to turn around soon. Like it's the only way. Every time I say that, they end up losing. So I don't want to say that, but
yeah,
I think I've called their games 3 times. So yeah.
Yeah, jinxing them again. And let's see if any other ones you jinxed this past week happen to happen or not. We'll see. Because we will go into the matches that we had for La Liga Match Day 5. There were a couple of Match Day 6. I don't know if those are in here or not, but we'll start off with Friday as Real Betis cement their place as the second best Real in the league as they beat Real Sociedad 3-1.
Betis pour it on as they dominate Real Sociedad, and the score says 3-1, but it could have been much, much worse. After La Real equalized at 1-1, it was all Betis and never close. Something's wrong with Real Sociedad, and they 3 straight losses. They haven't looked good since mid last season. I don't know what's going on. If you're a fan of that team, please go in the comments, tell us what's up, because I'm looking stuff up and I can't tell.
And then we moved on to Saturday. And speaking of what is going on, Levante get a 4-0 win against Girona, giving the belt-to-ass game of the week to them. And yeah, tell us about this match.
And this is the one I was talking about in our little intro. It is confirmed in my mind anyway. Girona will be going down and the worst team in La Liga. They were just beat 4-0 by another team at the bottom of the table and a team that had just been promoted, which is it doesn't get worse than that. They had 2 straight reds in the first 46 minutes of this match, and the team just feels like they're falling apart and that they've given up. But hey, what a win for Levante as they get 3 more points to add to that little tally that we look at the end of the season.
Yeah, and that 4-0 loss does bring Girona's goal differential to -13 already after 5 games. So yeah, not very good. But, on the other side of the spectrum, we have Real Madrid getting a 2-0 win at home against Espanyol. Again, we thought might be a little bit closer.
I know. It's just sheesh. It's the best thing I can say about this. We already talked about the goals, and if you haven't seen them, you need to go check them out. They were incredible. It was almost like Mbappe said, hold my beer after Militao's goal and tried to outdo his boy. This Espanyol side, though, they were no joke, and just to pass them with ease like they did, it was just really cool to see. We'll see if they can bounce back from this, talking about Espanyol here, but Madrid just looks scary. I mean, I think a lot of teams are going to be losing to Real Madrid, and maybe Espanyol will play other teams and be able to get more points here and get that winning streak, or I guess the unbeaten streak, back on track. But man, Real Madrid, scary through 5 games.
Yeah, and speaking of back on track, our next match had Villarreal taking on Osasuna and getting a 2-1 win.
Villarreal bounced back from their loss this weekend to get all 3 points against Osasuna, and it wasn't easy as the winning goal. Like it wasn't like they had this match were dominating and they were going to win the whole time. Like I watched the match and it just felt like it was going to end as a draw, but the goal comes in the 84th minute. And of course we talked about it, how it came, off the cheeks of a man. But they're back to winning ways. They're back in the the upper echelons of the table. Yeah, topper echelons. That can be a word too. No, the upper echelons of the table. And yeah, Villarreal getting back on track after they stumbled a couple of times. But there's going to be a lot of teams that stumble against the mighty Tottenham Hotspur, so you can't blame them for that.
And then our next match, changing the subject very fast, we're going to go on to Sevilla getting a 2-1 win on the road against Alaves.
Sevilla absolutely needed this one. Ruben Vargas's goal, Sevilla's first goal, was so good as he sends in a rocket from outside the box while he's falling over. And I said Alaves had a chance and they were doing great until Alexis Sanchez, you remember that guy, scored an eventual winner in the 67th minute of this match. It's now 2 wins in 3 matches for Sevilla, and they are looking better and better. Slowly and slowly, what's it, inch by inch, it's a cinch. Maybe, just maybe, they've turned things around.
And then to close out our Saturday, we had Valencia making a statement with the 2-0 win against Athletic Club.
Valencia bounced back from a heavy defeat to Barca with 3 points and a clean sheet against Athletic Club. The match was back and forth until Vivian was sent off for Athletic Club in the 61st minute. And the dam broke early after that. And man, the sound of the Mastaya whenever they score goals there like this, it just is insane. That's one that's already been on the bucket list. But like I was saying, the weather, everything, like we just need to get out to Spain, man. The stadium for sure on the bucket list. We got to go to all these different parts of Spain. Let's just spend like a month there and go check it out.
You gotta do what we gotta do. Yes, so for the podcast, for you, the viewers,
pod, yeah,
do it.
Yeah.
And then that closed out our Saturday. We moved into Sunday with a 1-1 draw. Again, it was Rayo Vallecano against Celta Vigo.
The masters of the draw strike again as Celta get their 5th draw in a row against Rayo. De Fruto scores. Borja Iglesias scores. It's all the makings of a match that you would expect from these two sides, but they both got to find some wins soon because this is a lot of draws.
And riding on their high horse, Atletico Madrid come back crashing to earth as they get a 1-1 draw against Mallorca.
Atleti couldn't cash in on the momentum from their first win last weekend, but it's Mallorca that will feel like they're the ones that drop points in this one because Julian Alvarez had a penalty blocked and Sorloth was sent off in the 72nd minute. Needless to say, a point against Atleti is a good result, but you could tell the fans were frustrated and that they couldn't take advantage and get all 3 points. But what can you do? A point is a point.
And then we go on to our battle of the promoted sides as Elche get a 1-0 win against Oviedo. And if you want to stop the count now, Elche are in the Europa League.
You're telling me, man. I love it. Elche handled business against a fellow promoted side. And I said in the preview that I expected Elche to win here because they look like they've leveled up since being promoted from the Segunda División. And they did just that. They won the game and it was only 1-0, but they had plenty more chances that they missed. I say that a lot for the teams that won, but most of the time there's a lot of luck that goes into this thing, guys. On the flip side, though, it's 4 losses from 5 games for Oviedo as they continue to spiral out of control in La Liga, and it's the complete opposite for Elche. That's the little engine that could. I'm all aboard. I hope that Elche can keep it up because this is fun.
And then we ended our match day with Barcelona trying to stay in the fight with Real Madrid as they get a 3-0 win against Getafe.
There was a reason why, even though Getafe had a great start to the season, that I didn't make this one of the top matches of the weekend to watch. And we had a discussion about this at the end of the pod last week, right? Because Getafe hadn't played any of the top teams in La Liga yet, and I figured that this could be a possibility. Barca carved them up all night. Barca's first goal was a thing of beauty. It was a masterclass in passing as Rafinha's pass got it started by deleting 4 players, leading Olmo into the box, who knew that he didn't have a shot, so he backheeled it for Ferran Torres, who puts it home. And man, it was just freaking electric stuff. Barcelona put Getafe to the sword, 3-0. It's crazy.
Yep, and those are your matches for match day 5 in La Liga. And the only thing I had to say about Getafe is that if they won, they would be sitting in second place right now with 12 points, and that's higher than that would be higher than Barcelona at the time, and of course just behind Real Madrid. But I mean, at that point, would you be like, "Is this team for real? Is this?" It would be crazy. Yeah.
The thing that Getafe kind of blew my mind with last season is that how good their defense was. I think they were 3rd in La Liga in goals for or goals against. Sorry, it was either 3rd, it was 5th or higher. I know that for sure. I know they were at least the 5th best. But for that amount of great defensive play, like you only need a goal or 2, but they just lacked so many goals. They were like one of the bottom 2 or 3 teams in goals for. And so, I mean, yeah, seeing a team like that. If you play the big teams in Spain, like Real Madrid, Atletico Madrid, Barcelona, they expect you to sit back and defend your goal. And so, yeah, even though Getafe has that and they can do that to other teams, Barcelona's bored for this, man. They've been dealing with this their entire existence. So that's why I just kind of figured this would happen. I was hoping it wouldn't, but it did. It happens.
Yeah, you were right. Did not seem like there was any defense for Barcelona to worry about for Getafe. 3-0. So, well.
Okay, well, let's do it. Let's keep this train rolling. Let's go to England.
Let's do it to the Prem.
The complete opposite of the sunny, nice weather in Spain. There must have been like a giant storm cloud across the entire UK because almost all the games, not all of them, but almost all of them were just rainy and sloppy. Like I was uncomfortable just watching it because I knew they were cold too. Like it's always cold there. But yeah, plenty of derbies this weekend, plenty of great matches to talk about. Managers on the cusp of being sacked. Let's jump in, Vic. Let's do this.
Let's do it. Let's start off with the top matches and headlines for the Premier League match day 5. And of course, we start with number 1 as Merseyside is red.
Liverpool take the Merseyside derby thanks to goals from Ekitike and Gravenberch. They were 2-0 up after 30 minutes, but credit to Everton for battling back, making it interesting in the end. But the champs win again, and it's 5 wins for 5 from Liverpool.
And number 2, it was a close one at the Emirates.
City and Arsenal threw haymakers like the heavyweights they are, and it made for some good watching and a great match. Haaland's goal was undone in stoppage time by a world-class goal from Martinelli as they split the points in this one, and they let Liverpool just inch a little bit closer.
Number 3, we alluded to it, rain, go away.
There was a ton of rain falling in the UK this weekend, and it made for some interesting matches, none more so than in Manchester. It was a wild one between United and Chelsea that saw both teams playing the second half with 10 men. But United get a much-needed win, and overall, they were the better team on the night.
And number 4, Palace press on.
Crystal Palace get a 2-1 win over their London rivals West Ham to remain unbeaten in the Prem. In fact, they're the only other team outside of Liverpool that is yet to lose in the league. It's a great start for Crystal Palace. Go Eagles. Do they say that? I don't know, but go Eagles.
Nobody should say that. Nobody should say that. And number 5, what is going on at Aston Villa?
From nearly knocking out PSG in the Champions League last year, just like a few months ago, to now winless in their first 5 Premier League matches, just a single goal scored. And that goal was scored very recently. I think it was maybe this weekend. Not sure what's caused the 180 at Villa. They just need to keep it or get it going, and they can't figure it out. I'm starting to worry, though, because things are looking bleak.
And those are your top matches and headlines for the Premier League match day 5. And you're right. Their first goal was this past weekend. It was pretty crazy to look at. I had to double check that a couple times because, yeah.
You're like, this is not right. This ain't right.
Yeah, this ain't right. And I don't know what's going on with them, but yeah, they need to get it turned around, or we'll break up the ongoing routine that is the newly promoted sides are the newly relegated sides, and we'll get a new relegated team this year. We'll see.
Yeah, no, we spent like all offseason talking about like, oh, it's not even fair. Like this, they're just going to go right up and right down. And then you look at the table, and if we actually, hey, can we pull up the table? Let's do it. Yeah, where are the new team? Where are the new teams at? Look at them.
Where are the new teams? Yeah, Burnley 16. Yeah, Burnley 16. Leeds is 12, and then Sunderland is 7 still. All in the middle of the table, kind of spread out in the middle of the table. But yeah, all brand new relegated teams that are. I mean, I know it's very early in the relegation zone: Aston Villa, West Ham, and Wolverhampton. And
you know what else I heard though? So I heard a stat that at this point in the season, what is this? Through 5 match days, the newly promoted clubs already have more points combined than the teams that were relegated last season. So that's crazy.
Yeah, last season was pretty historic. Yeah, that was pretty bad.
So yeah, I mean, yeah, we were talking about it. There were teams that were horrible that got promoted with Leicester and Southampton. But man, these newly promoted teams, they aren't playing. They're going at it.
And it's not just us talking about Aston Villa. Like most of everywhere else you hear about, like everyone is pretty agreed that Aston Villa is probably the worst team in the Premier League right now. And they still have Wolverhampton and West Ham underneath them. But that's how bad it is for Aston Villa right now, which is pretty crazy. But
good. It blows my mind. They were in it wasn't a semi, it was a quarterfinal, I believe, against PSG just like in May. or in whatever April, and now they're freaking the worst team in the Prem. It's crazy.
Yeah,
anyway,
hopefully get turned
life
around,
comes at you fast.
No, but let's move fast into these matches for match day 5 in the Premier League. And of course, it all started with the Merseyside derby, and it seems like the Premier League also is going to be red as Liverpool win 2-1 against Everton.
When you watch Liverpool score 2 goals the way they did, and then you look at the clock and you see that there's only 29 minutes that have passed, I'm sure like other people like me thought, man, this one could get ugly. Like this could be a blowout. But it didn't happen. And we even had a golazo from Everton. It was interesting enough to where the match, there was some controversy on how little stoppage time was given at the end of the game. At least Jack Grealish said so. But I mean, overall, Liverpool, they were the better team. And yeah, I mean, I don't want to say anymore because Danny P might get mad, but they put their best effort forward. How about that?
Yeah, and it just wasn't enough, but maybe next time we will see. Moving on in Saturday, we had Burnley taking on Nottingham Forest, and they battled to a 1-1 draw.
Forest scores in the first 2 minutes of the match thanks to a freaking laser beam from Nico Williams, but that's where the scoring stopped. Burnley got an equalizer, or their scoring stopped. Burnley got an equalizer, and the credit goes to the Forest defender Zinchenko, who literally guided the ball in with his foot. If you've watched the highlights, he's like falling down as the ball is on his foot, and he happens to hook it like into the net. It was just insane. I've never seen that before, and it was the dumbest goal ever, but hey, they get a point from it, so cool.
And then going from a 1-1 draw to a 2-2 draw, we had Spurs taking on Brighton.
Brighton started off hot as they got out to a 2-0 lead before Spurs fought their way back into this one. By the end of the match, Spurs had the upper hand, but it wasn't meant to be as they split the points. West Ham, why did I say West Ham? Brighton are always giving Spurs trouble, but this one, it was cool to see Spurs bounce back, and like they showed heart, they showed grit, things that we didn't see last season. If this was 2-0 last season under Enge, we weren't winning, or we weren't getting a point.
Yeah, and they keep their spot right now as number 3 and in a Champions League spot because of that heart. Good job, Spurs. I'll probably never say that again, but yeah, good job, Spurs. But you were getting ahead of us because West Ham is next as they fall 2-1 against Crystal Palace.
We talked about what the win means for Palace, but on the flip side of this match, West Ham have now started off with 4 losses in 5 matches, and they sit 18th in the table. And if we can look at that, I mean, I don't think we can look at the table yet too much, but if we can, you see West Ham, you see Villa. It's just what the heck is going on? What I will say, though, it is dark times for the Hammers. And honestly, I can't see Potter sticking around for too much longer if things don't change, because this team is just looking like they have nowhere to go, no ideas, nothing's happening for them. But credit to Palace. We already gave them credit, but I have to say it again. Credit to Palace. The only other unbeaten team other than Liverpool.
And then we move on to the Battle of the Yellow Shields as Wolverhampton fall 3-1 against Leeds.
Excuse me. Leeds get their first away win of the Premier League season, and it sends Wolves into a dark place as they've now lost all 5 of their matches to start the season. We knew that Wolves would be in the relegation scrap, but they might be finding a new manager before we get to October because things are looking bad. But as I wrote this in my notes, I still wanted to say it because I feel that way. But I was listening to a podcast, and they were talking about it. It was some on BBC, maybe it was The Athletic. I can't remember what the podcast was, but they were saying how Wolves are like fully behind their manager and saying like, yeah, we can get this done. We can turn things around. But 5 losses from 5. I don't understand how they look at that and say, yes, we're going somewhere with this. Just like the Amorim thing at United. I don't know what they see, but hey, they get paid a lot more money than I do to do this.
And then we move on to Manchester United versus Chelsea. Manchester United getting their second win of the season, and all they needed was a little R&R, and of course that means rain and a red card.
What a rainy, sloppy match. Not only was there 2 sending offs we talked about, but Cole Palmer was subbed off due to injury. Sounds like a groin injury in the first half, which that sucks. He just came back from injury. Chelsea got a late goal to make it interesting, but United were pretty dominant in this one in a wacky match at Old Trafford. I would say a wacky old match at Trafford, but hey, that works too, though, I guess. But yeah, man, I like I was saying, if sitting there watching this match, just like I want to see these teams play in like not completely torrential downpour conditions and just have an even playing field because it just looks sloppy.
And then we moved into our last matchup of Saturday as Fulham hope this is a sign of things to come. They get 2 wins in a row as they beat Brentford 3-1.
Yeah, Fulham get back-to-back wins as they take down Brentford pretty easily. Alex Iwobi was so good with the goal and an assist, and his assist was what we like to call here a boner ball material because Brentford, he just deleted half of the team on the way to getting that assist. But still, it's just one win for Brentford on the season as they sit right above the relegation zone so far. We knew this was coming for Brentford, though, but man, to have a derby like that, Fulham get it done. Way to go, Fulham. Way to go, Fulham.
That was our last match for Saturday. Moving on to Sunday, if you do not like draws, look away now as our first matchup was Sunderland and Aston Villa fighting to a 1-1 draw.
Sunderland were a man down after 33 minutes in this one and found a way to get a late equalizer to split the points. Villa are so disappointing early this season. We already talked about them a lot, but it's only going to be amplified by the fact that they were up a man for most of this match against a newly promoted side, and they couldn't find a way to win the match. Sunderland are no pushovers, but come on, Villa, you got to do better than that.
And then our second matchup was a 0-0 draw, Bournemouth taking on Newcastle.
This one was a stale match to watch, but somehow is still much better result for Bournemouth than for Newcastle. I won't talk about it too much, but just know that Bournemouth, they definitely will be the team that feels like they got the upper hand now because Newcastle, they just showed no life.
And then our last match of match day 5 was another draw, but just seemed to be a little bit more entertaining as Arsenal draw 1-1 with Manchester City.
City will feel hard done by after they led for the 99% of the match thanks to the beautiful counterattack that ended with Haaland's goal. Tijani Reinders was excellent in this one for City, but they couldn't find that elusive second goal to pad the lead, and then they were punished. Martinelli's chip to win the game in stoppage time was filthy, straight filth, but what a way to get a point and what a way to draw and get, get a point again, to get something from this game. The Emirates, or as they call it, what did you say? The Emirates.
I swear I've heard you say Emirates.
No one's ever said that for me. But anyway, the Emirates was just going insane after this, and why wouldn't you? That was such an awesome goal. I don't say that often about Arsenal, but hey, like I said, really, them drawing only means that that Liverpool get a little bit closer to the title, which isn't fun. For anyone.
That's right. No, it's great. It's really awesome. And those are your match days, or those are your matches for match day 5. I was going to say, because you were just talking about Liverpool and Wolverhampton, 2 most consistent teams right now. Liverpool with 5 straight wins, Wolverhampton 5 straight losses. So
hey, if you're going to be anything, just be consistent, That's what they say. Just show up. Just be consistent.
Yeah, so. That's right. You know what you know what to expect. You know what I mean? And also, just because you were talking a little bit of shit, it does feel great to be 5 points up. 5 matches into the season. It feels awesome for Liverpool.
Right?
Fans.
Yeah.
All the Reds out there. Feels great.
What else can they do? And you've already beat Arsenal, right? Didn't you? Yeah. Oh, yeah. You're 5 wins for 5. So obviously you beat them. Yeah. I mean, good start. Good start to the season. There's some good, it was good games this weekend for the Prem and a pretty lackluster, I guess we'll call it, weekend overall. But man, the Prem brought the heat. I don't know. I haven't looked at the schedules yet, but we'll see which games we're going to get next weekend. And I think, actually, I know for a fact that this is not a Champions League week. So we do have some European matches to talk about, and it's pretty cool. We had the Champions League highlighted last week. It was all Champions League all week. And this week, the Europa League. It's all week. I think it's only Wednesday and Thursday, but still, how cool is that? So we're throwing a wrench in the plans here. Hopefully our producer back there, let's see, Brainiac can do it, but let's jump to the Europa League, and let's talk about some of the matches. We're not going to go over all the matches here because I know we have a whole lot, but we're going to talk about some of the matches that are teams that we cover regularly and just the teams to watch out for as we jump into these matches. And we start off on
snooze. I'm sorry to do this. I got to pause you for a second because I've changed up the liquid here, and we did have the Larceny C923. We're going with the Elijah Craig Barrel Proof C923 elusive bottle to find, and I got one. And I just had to do that real quick. I'm sure maybe one person was kind of seeing that there was a different bottle. We'll see what happens. We'll see.
Yeah, obviously you got to keep them going, So take that sip and let me know. Are we talking notes that are floral or like barrel-y, woodsy? You know, I'm just kidding. I don't know.
No, it's actually all of that. This was kind of a floral, very, very, very small hint of floral, but this is all just straight up caramel vanilla. But this is honestly like regarded as like one of the best ever Elijah Craig barrel proofs to ever come out. So,
well, tell your friend Craig I said what's up, and
I'll let him know.
So in the Europa League on Wednesday, looking at the Wednesday slate, the Thursday slate is better in my opinion. We do have some matches to talk about though on the Wednesday slate. Most notably, two teams that we cover a lot here. Real Betis gets Nottingham Forest, and that's going to be a fun one. Forest is having to go to Sevilla to take on Betis, two teams that are kind of, well, Forest is, they've lost their way a bit, but new manager, what can you expect? Betis, though, starting to hit their stride and to get Anthony more integrated, ready to go. That's going to be a fun match to watch. We also get Freiburg, the Black Forest boys. They get Basel at home. And if you don't know the geography of these places, Basel and Freiburg are very close, like an hour train ride. So these guys might be neighbors. They might talk crap all the time. So we'll see how that goes. The only other matches of note on Wednesday, or the only other match of note, is Nice from Ligue 1 is taking on Roma, and Roma is actually going to France. So that will be a fun one. I believe Roma can get that one done, but I haven't seen much from Nice this year, so we'll see how that goes. And then the match that kind of headlines this Thursday, we have Va FB Stuttgart's taking on Celta Vigo. Celta Vigo is traveling to take on our Stuttgart. That will be a fun one. Two teams that are pretty lackluster starting the season. Celta Vigo, like we said, the masters of the draw, 5 draws in a row. But Stuttgart, they just got their first win. Well, they've got a couple wins, but they just got a win this past weekend, and I think they can get it done, but that's going to be a fun one to watch. And then, of course, we have a couple other matchups. The only other one on Thursday that I really want to call out, it was Aston Villa versus Bologna. And, man, Bologna is starting to hit their stride. Aston Villa, we just talked about a lot, not hitting their stride at all. I expect Bologna to get the win, but it is at Villa Park, so we'll see what happens. Vic, do any of these, I don't know if you've pulled it up yet, but any of these spark your fancy, sir?
Yeah, the Young Boys, because it's always cool to see that name and see people talk about Young Boys and all that stuff. And then we have a new one for for this Europa League season, which is pretty cool to see. The Go Ahead Eagles. What do you know about the Go Ahead Eagles? Do you know anything?
Yeah, that's the team that the Wolfsburg coach came from. He's Paul Simonis. He was the head coach of Go Ahead Eagles, and he ended up going to Wolfsburg after they won like a first trophy in their history, or like 100 years, something like that. But yeah, they are supposed to be pretty fun to watch. I haven't seen them. And they're taking on Steaua Bucharest too, so we'll see.
Yeah, they're in the Netherlands league. Yeah, the highest level of Dutch football. And I don't know, with the Go Ahead Eagles, I don't like it. I'm a Cowboys fan, so the Eagles are the worst.
Go Ahead Eagles.
Yeah, but a Go Ahead Eagles jersey sounds pretty cool. You know what I mean?
Right.
Go Ahead Eagles.
Yeah. And it's they're in vogue right now too, because they won. So gotta get it while it's hot.
Yeah,
I will say, that'll be a fun one.
Looking for a Cologne kit is proving harder than it was. I thought I had one for like a pretty good price, because like everything's like 120 pounds. I don't even know what that is in dollars. I just see pounds. And then the ones I do find that are kind of cheap, they don't ship to US. So I'm like, yeah. But I'm trying to find a Cologne kit. I might add the Go Ahead Eagles to that kit search as well. So
hey, you should. It'll be fun. The teams, like, I don't think no, because Cologne just got promoted. I was like, I don't think they're in the Europa League or anything like that. But Go Ahead Eagles, you can wear it for like 8 matches now. So got to get it soon so you can start wearing that.
Yeah.
But hey, maybe they make it into knockout rounds. You go longer. We'll find out. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That about does it. I think it's time for hey, Brainiac, hit our music. Boom. Hey, there we go. Vic,
like a
take
conductor.
us home. You like that?
Yeah, that was pretty nice.
Take us home.
Yeah, thank you everyone for hanging out with us, spending some time with us, and talking about European football. We of course appreciate it. Be sure to like us on all of social medias. Everything is at No Business Soccer Podcast, except for TikTok, except for Twitter. That's at No Biz Sock Pod. You can see it under my face. I think I'm over there. It's at No Biz Sock Pod, because those names were way too damn long. We do have a midweek match day coming up. I forgot what league, but we will talk about that all coming out on Friday as we look at the European look ahead. Yeah, European look ahead, and we start talking about some matches. So be sure to subscribe, turn on notifications so you get that as soon as it drops, and we will all talk to you very soon.
Peace.